What's going on, backpackers? Dave here with Off Grid. I'm at the backpacking, hiking, camping, and gear, and this is the big first trip of the year for me. I'm out here with a coworker and buddy, Edgar, in Joshua Tree National Park, and this is not the original trip that we had planned. Got pushed back by a record snowfall for our region. So I actually was quite literally buried and snowed in, so I wasn't able to make it out. This is going to be a special shout out to Jared, aka Snackbox from Outside Comfort Zone, and my buddy Jason, aka Huck from Huck Outdoors, who were originally, I was going to go with them, and this was the brainchild from Jared. He was going to try to do an FKT, and it just didn't come together because of the weather. So I'm out here a little bit later on, close to a month later, and Edgar was still like, hey, you want to still go? And I was like, yeah, sure. So we're out here. We still got some great weather. We're out here a little bit after mid-March, so the weather's still good. Not sure when it's going to drop on the channel, probably a little bit later on, but the weather's still great. We've got low to mid-60s today, I'd say. I just checked the thermo drop, but it's reading 70. It's probably picking up my body heat. So the route that we're doing is kind of one that I custom made myself. Started at the Boy Scout trailhead, which is closer to the western entrance, and we're basically just doing a 17.5 mile loop kind of around that main road that comes in. So right now we're making our way through the section known as Quail Wash, and we're still going to be in this zone for the first day, but we're also going to see if we can do this in an overnighter rather than originally we still have it budgeted for 3 days and 2 nights if we need it, but I think we're feeling pretty good, so we might end up doing this in an overnighter. All right, just stopping for a quick lunch break. Just got a sandwich for the first day here, and some high-low chips. Keeping it keto, keeping it low carb. All right, we just got done with lunch. We're back out on trail. The terrain is a little bit technical just because, let me swing you around here too. We got a lot of soft sand here, so just your feet kind of like dig in a little bit as you're going along. So it's almost like walking on a beach, like a sandy beach. So going through the wash section here, especially when it's not raining, the ground is a little bit more soft. And like I said before, we got a little bit of precipitation that blew through here, so the ground's probably softer than usual, so it's a little bit slower going than we had originally planned, but we're still for the most part on pace to make it to camp somewhere in like the mid-afternoon, so we're not too worried about that. We're just stopping here and there and taking pics and looking at all the different rock formations and stuff like that, but having a great time. So next time you'll see me, I'll probably be at camp. Oh, one more thing that I forgot to mention was that the temperature kicked up a little bit as we are kind of coming through the wash here. There's a couple of mountains on either side, so it's kind of deadening the wind a little bit, but nothing serious. Still beautiful weather. And even though it may look dorky to have this umbrella in these high sun exposed areas, this is definitely the way to go. I'm loving it. Definitely a lot cooler under this thing. Giving Edgar the crash course on setting up the Lanshan 1. I'm going to set up my Gossamer gear, the 1, right now. All right, Gossamer gear, the 1. I got the head end over on this side, so the door is on the opposite side. Just because I'm on a slight angle over here. Sun is setting behind us over here to the west, and I think that's where the wind is coming from, so I should be all right with the wind as well. But just gonna get everything else settled and then have some dinner. All right, I got my Sentry Ren on already. Temps are dipping to the low 60s. We don't have sunset yet. We still have close to about another 40 minutes or so until sunset, but the clouds have rolled in, so it kind of looks a little bit darker right now. So before we end up chowing down, I just wanted to show you real quick the different setups that we have and what we're working with tonight. So we got the Lanshan Pro 1 for Edgar setup. Got him hooked up with the Nemo Philo Pillow right back here, and then the Outdoor Vitals Storm Loft 30 degree. The red denotes the 30 degree. And then just the cheap Chinese knockoff pad here. It's self-inflating, but it should be decently warm for him tonight. Walking over to my setup, we got the Gossamer gear, the 1. Temperature is currently reading 59. Not sure if you can see that. Both doors open to ventilate it a little bit more before I jump in to my 20 degree UGQ quilt. Love this. Temps might get down into the 40s tonight, so it might be a little bit overkill at a 20 degree comfort rating, but really love this quilt. Top of the Nemo Tensor. This is the older model, so it is 3.5 R value, I think, of the Thermarest pillow. Got the Mountain Hardwear Ghost Whisper for later, and that's pretty much it for my setup. All right, chow time. I got the Next Mile Meals deli roast beef. Edgar, what do you got over there?
Got the coconut chicken curry, which is 510 calories, which is not bad actually. That's pretty sizable, 99 grams. I put more than 6 ounces right now just because we had extra water, but yeah, it looks like a solid product, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a pretty good keto option. Edgar's also into keto and low carb eating. These, as far as like calories go, are a little bit lower. Edgar also brought a Peak Refuel here. It's definitely got the breakfast skillet, so that'll be good for tomorrow. Yeah, that's some really good stuff. And we got, how much? 680 in these, so a little bit lower on those. But and I also have over here my own concoction. Maybe I'll tell you guys in the future about that. This is just a little bit of iced tea on the trail. I got my own lemon and tea and sweetener in there. So about to chow down. Really hungry. on day 2, still at camp. It's about, I think I got down to about 39 degrees last night. So I think my pad had a couple of cold spots in it, so I don't know if I trust the older tensor down to the 30s. But the UGQ performed splendidly. Kind of had off and on sleep. I'm just walking over to our bear can stash, even though there aren't any bears. We've got no trees to hang up our food at night, so just stashing the bear can off to the side. And I don't think I showed you the rest of camp here. We're not too far away from the main road. There's Edgar's tent over there, and I'm parked right over here. The main road is just right over there, so we ended up going a little bit farther on day 1, and I'll show you guys. So we had to do a water cache, so I'll show you that after we eat breakfast, break down camp, and head on over. We'll grab the water and camel up for day 2. Got the next mile sausage scramble for breakfast, just with some tea. Gonna be good. All right, all packed up, back out on trail. Today, I think it's only going to be about 7 miles remaining. We really blasted this out pretty quickly. Again, budgeted 3 days, 2 nights, but I think we're going to slam this one out and just get done by a little bit after or right around lunchtime today. So it's what, I don't know. Well, you know what time it is? Like 9 o'clock? A little bit before. I think it's like 8:40, something like that.
9 o'clock.
Oh, 9 o'clock. There you go. So today we're, like I said, I mentioned, we're pretty close to the road. So we're just gonna grab some water because we're running pretty low. The weather doesn't look great, as you can see. We've got some drizzling going on. It wasn't in the forecast at all today. But I pulled the weather forecast from the Garmin. It's saying about 40% chance pretty much the entirety of our trek here. So we'll see how it goes today. Actually, I think we're a little bit off. I think it's probably down that way. We gotta go. We're just gonna go grab our water. We're gonna head into the maze section. It might be officially called the Maze Trail. If not, I gotta look that one up. And then we're gonna connect over, curl around to the Boy Scout Trail at the very end for the last few miles before picking back up with the car. So let's head out on the trail for day 2. It's the trail is right there and the road's right up there, but here is where we cached our water. It's a pretty good spot. Edgar had an extra tarp, so we didn't just have to leave the bottles by themselves. And here's the hidden treasure. Probably not going to grab all of it. We kind of went overkill, so we're just going to camel up and take what we need, and then probably just double back and grab whatever's left. Okay, apologies for any wind noises. We are on the Boy Scout trail right now. This is the final loop around. I just wanted to show you guys real quick. Wind is definitely kicking up, but just in case you're wondering and you want to stay in this area, they've got these really cool signs that tell you where to go. So Joshua Tree has now instituted a permitting system. So you can't just backpack freely. You have to buy either like a backpacking permit, or if you're on this specific trail with the Boy Scout trail with this sign right here, there are these specific sites. Even though you still don't have fire rings, it's still considered more of backcountry camping. But in this specific area, you have to designate a site on where to stay. All right, so what are my final thoughts on this trip as we're nearing the end here? Well, I thought it was great. First time at the park. You'll hear a little bit from Edgar in a second as to his thoughts on it and his experience, but great section. I think the Quail Wash section was a little bit more bland. I kind of expected the maze and the Boy Scout trail section over here, or sections over here, to be a little bit more diverse, and they were. It's definitely more beautiful in this spot. Over in the Wash, it was just a lot more flat, and the trail was a little bit harder to pick up and follow, so it's a little bit easier to follow on this side, and definitely more things to see. The weather was absolutely beautiful. We had during the day in the 60s, and like I said, last night it got down to about 39, so it was a little bit cold sleeping on the tensor, but and woke up a decent amount of times. But excellent trip. Definitely recommend coming out here. And if you do come out here, definitely come out here during the winter time. Do not come out here when it starts heating up, because it gets brutally hot here during the summertime. So I think the peak season runs through just about April. depending on you know, how quickly it heats up. And like I said, we're here mid to late March now, so we lucked out. We thought we were gonna get some rain today, but it looks like the clouds are dissipating now, and we really just got a few light sprinkles and that was it. So excellent trip. All right, we're heading back to the car. Just found a little rock alcove to take some protection from the sun and the wind, because the wind's been whipping like crazy. But I figured I'd do a little post-hike interview with Edgar. Edgar, what'd you think of the trip?
It was a good trip. First time backpacking, first time... Actually, I think this is the longest walk I've ever done in my life. So, first time putting this much weight on my back and walking with it as well. Yeah, overall, it's been a really good trip.
Yeah, definitely a first time backpacking trip. You go to Joshua Tree, so you go to a desert where we had some long water carries and definitely heavier weight on our back. So what'd you think of that? Like, you didn't have to filter water, but how was the weight like riding on your back? So
I think as someone who's more physically active, this weight was fine. And actually, I'm curious what a lighter weight feels like. I think it would be better if I had a lighter weight, but no, I think overall this is manageable for me. But I think for maybe beginners, someone like who's not as active as me, definitely would have been more struggle. Yeah.
Right on. And how'd you sleep last night? That's a big question you can ask. Usually, first time sleepers in the backcountry usually have a problem with it. How'd you do last night?
Well, you provided the mats, so you provide all the stuff. I mean, some context. You provided all the equipment I'm using, stuff you use. So as far as setting it up, as far as sleeping, it was actually a good experience. It was like the mat was comfy enough. I think I'm someone who can actually sleep on flat ground pretty well. But I wasn't cold. Yeah, I slept the full 8 hours and some, I think, and actually probably woke up to my alarm because of the alarm. I could have slept in easily, is what I'll say.
That's insane.
On that pad, yeah.
I cannot say the same, for sure. I had many a bad night's sleep on my first few nights out there. So what would you give me as a grade then, overall, as your host, the first time out?
For Dave's backpacking tours, I'd give it a 9 out of 10.
Wow.
Only it would be a 10 out of 10 if my shoes fit properly.
Shoes, he's got the boots, he's got the Solomon boots.
Yeah, you gotta have shoes that are comfortable for long walks and don't.
Yeah, we'll get you over to trail runners, I think. Hopefully soon. We'll see. Yeah. And the big question is, would you do it again?
This specific trail, yeah, I think I would do it again. Yeah.
What about like other terrains, like forest or island camping or anything like that?
I mean, as far as the backpacking experience goes, like if I were to just take what I did today and did it in a different space, yeah, I think I would do it again. It just, for me, it's more of like having the equipment, understanding how to use it. And now that I have some understanding, because you provided all the information, yeah, I would definitely do it again now.
All right, well, it's been fun, bud.
Oh yeah, definitely a good time.
Awesome, dude. Can't wait to go out and do it again. All right, guys, I'm gonna sign off on this one. As always, thanks so much for watching. Remember, if you're headed off grid, make sure you do your research and you make it a safe one. See you on the next one.